What's up, everybody? Today I'm going to skip video games again. I just don't have anything to really play, so, it is what it is. I don't know what I guess I'm going to go to this one. Jeezless. Sorry. That thing's volume resets. Plus, I don't know what I was doing last night. I was doing music last night, and so, who knows? Stuff gets moved. Like, I don't have a buzz right now, but I have a hiss in my headphones. Like, things are too loud or whatever. I don't know. All right, so what we're going to do today is I have an idea. So, I guess we could talk about this, though, first. So, I started 3D printing the box. This is yesterday's design. I'll just drop it there, I guess. Now, I don't know what happened here. Usually, once it gets printing, it's good. But I printed 3 of these at the same time, and so I have a problem. I think my plate, I don't know. There's like one of these turned out really good. And then the other 2 are like, one is really degraded. And like, usually like the whole model would be bad. But I don't know what you're going to be able to see. The Chevy turned out really good. I think on pretty much all 3 of them. The Phoenix, it's kind of like, I don't know. It's not great. Probably if it was bigger. Now, I don't know what happened to this one. This one just got totally jacked up. Like my Z length was wrong. So you can see that over here by the Chevy. See how it's all jacked up on that side? So my plate must be really out of level wherever that was. But I got 2 of them, so I'll just reprint another one. But basically, I'm just going to glue that to that, and the light will no longer work. And I don't care, but it will look good, right? So just glue that right there, like that. Shove it in the door, and then I'll have my Chevy and my Phoenix. So probably, though, I don't need to make this that thick on these. It's the first time I've ever done this. I don't need to make them that thick. I could probably just do like 1 millimeter. And on the Chevy, the way it is, I might be able to make it. I might be able to put a fillet on it because it's just all straight lines. But I think the Chevy symbol turned out good. The Phoenix is probably there's too much going on. And so if it was a bigger print, I think it would be all right. But in the small sort of detail here, I don't know. I am printing the small Phoenix right now on the CB box. So we'll see how that goes. But, I don't even know if that's going to work because I just need to redo my bed. So re-leveling the bed I'm just too busy right now. So it is what it is. If this print fails, then I'll do it tomorrow. But because it's like a process. Like first I got to clean it. And then I need to go through and like move the thing around with a ruler and make sure that it's just super level to start with. And then once I know that, then I auto level it and it prints really well for about, 3 months. Like I have to do this every 3 months or so. I don't know what your guys' mileage is on that. And I know like I probably just need a better printer, really. Like I don't know. It is what it is. Okay, so today I need to build a bike trailer. So I bought this box. Here's my idea. I went to the Army surplus store and I was gonna get an ammo can. And I decided against. I was gonna make it out of like 3 ammo cans. I decided against it because of the weight. I decided that, like, yes, lifting this thing onto the trailer and off is gonna be a thing, but more than that, I'm gonna get better mileage the less weight I take, right? Because eventually, sort of my plan is to get or build e-bikes, right? So I built this trailer. The idea is there's a bathroom on the front and bikes on the back. And then I go camping and I have a small lightweight rig that I can set up a base camp on Friday. On Saturday, I can go look at things that are around in the area, explore around, and then Sunday easily pack up and go home. So, and the rig is supposed to be set up to be ready to go. Then we go, and it's like an easier form of camping. Okay. Basically, you're just loading and unloading a truck, food and clothes. That's the idea. So the beds are made, and I basically just drive the truck around with the beds in it all the time. That's what I've been doing. It's been working. The only thing is like a bunch of campfire smoke got in the truck, and all the bedding smells really bad, like campfire. So next time I'm not going to park so close to the campfire. I'll say that. But other than that, it's been all right. And it was windy too at that camp. So instead of the smoke like going up, it went sideways, all like basically for a whole day straight that we had a fire. It was very windy. So let's do this. I have my measurements here, and I kind of don't know what exactly to do with this. I think what I can do is I just bought it like a plastic box. Okay, it's a Plano, Plano. So let's make a body. And obviously I'm not going to 3D print this. This is just for a design aspect. I could basically just, normally I would just draw this on paper, but I don't have any sort of video games to play right now. So in looking at this, it has like these designs on it. So basically it's kind of like a square, right? Or a rectangle like this or something. Okay. So this is going to represent the bottom of the tote is what we're going to do, looking up. And I'm not going to round the edges. It is round, but this is 26.5. Okay, what we're going to do for this model again too is an inch is a millimeter. Okay. And then basically at 5.5 inches or 5.25 to 8.25. Let me get this other thing. This is 12. So it's like this. This is how long it is, and this is how wide it is, and then the height is 12.5. Okay, so but what we need to do is basically there are like these like indents. Okay, and one of them goes to the edge like this. And this is going to break the model, so I'm not going to keep these, but it has an indent here and then an indent here, and then it has these indents in the middle here like this that go like this. So, and I don't know why, and then there's one here. I guess it's for strength or something, and then there's one here. Okay. Now I'm going to ignore these side ones because I don't know how to model that without breaking it. But I think we can keep these ones. From here to here, I think is 5.25 inches or so. And then we need to, let's make this vertical here. And then from here to here, this is 8.25 inches. Look at that, it's pretty close already. Okay. And then their length up and down we'll do in a minute. Looks like this one's about 11.25 or 3/4, I mean. So 11.75 about, and then we need to make this a vertical line and get my funky squares not funkified. There we go. From here to here, we're going to do a length of, looks like about 14.5. Okay. And these measurements are close, we'll say. I took a blurry picture of the tape measure stretched across this thing. So basically, I'm sort of guessing on the exact measurements, but we don't need the exact measurements because I'm going to build this thing out of metal probably, and so I'm just going to get it close here for a video. So this goes to 31 1/4. Also, just to get an idea of what I want to do, you know, kind of what I want to do. What is it? No, it's 21.25. Okay, so now if I go to the next video, or the next picture, rather, I took that one a lot clearer. Looks like it starts at 2 1/4. So I didn't like have this one on the edge. So we're at about, well, if I say it starts at 2, let's go 2.5. It looks like the edge of this to here is about 2.5 inches. About. That doesn't seem right. Two and a half, because the other side looks like it goes from 9 to 13. So this side actually looks like it's like, but I know that it was centered. I'm just gonna say each one is 4 inches. That looks about like what it actually is. I don't know if it's like the angle of the photo. Well, 9.5 to 12.5. Maybe it's more like 3.5 inches. It doesn't really matter. I mean, you know, I'm going to go build the thing and I'll just adjust it as I go. But I think this is right. This seems to be about right. So let's put all of these. If I make these equals each other, then they'll all be the same length. Right. Then I can just do this at 3.5. And then this will even itself out here. Okay, so we should be pretty good there for that. Okay, so that's what we have. So basically what I need to do is I need to build some sort of frame that kind of goes around this thing. Okay, we're constrained there. This is going to be my bottom. I'm going to pad it to 2 millimeters. So, like, the question is, do I just bolt through the bottom? You know, like I could just do one straight bar all the way across, but I'm not really sure how that would, how that strength wise would be. It would probably be fine. Or I could come across and do like a sideways bar across here and then in, which design wise would look better. You know what I mean? So let's make another sketch here. Or actually we're gonna make another body and then another sketch on the XY. Okay, so for now we'll mute that body and then we'll go back to the sketch here and we'll do a somewhat of a tubular frame. So the way that it's going to attach on the front is another issue that I need to test, because what I did was, I don't know if you guys are familiar with like those kid trailers that you put kids in, and there's a spring attachment point on the axle of your bike, the rear tire axle. Okay, so we had 2 of those, and one of them kind of got jacked up by leaves and stuff. We left it outside all winter and a bunch of leaves got in it and it was gross, so we threw it away. But what I did before we threw it away is I robbed all the pieces. So what I have is 2 tires from this thing and then the attachment point, and all the other stuff like that, like basically all the hardware, all the metal off of it. So I could use that metal to build this frame, or just, you know, build my own frame out of my own metal or whatever. But I think what I'm thinking is we're going to have one attachment point off the front that we're not going to design, because that's going to be based on how tall the bike is and where I want the trailer to ride at, you know, as far as ride height and that sort of thing. All we're going to do today is we'll focus on the frame. So it's going to go like this, I think. It's either going to be just one straight line all the way from the front to the back, and then on the back, I have my tire and bolt it. But what I'm more thinking about doing is something like this, where it comes over like that, and then we do one of these, and then we do kind of one of these to the back tire, okay? Where it would be kind of like this. I'm going to have to adjust this stuff. So just working in square tube. Okay. So basically something like that. I'm going to have to look at where my guy is here. Like, I wish that I could see the lines with the model. You know what I mean? Like, can we make a see-through model? So this needs to be much smaller and into here. Okay, so let's just start kind of moving things where we can here. If we put that there, let's see. Maybe what I should do is do this and then make this visible. Does that work? The sketch. No, that doesn't work either, because it doesn't show me the sketch in this deal. Oh, wait, maybe it will. Okay, there we go. Sweet. So now I have the sketch. So if I can keep this kind of there, then I can kind of put things where I want them. So this would be like somewhere in here. So it would go inside the indents, right? Which may or may not do anything over the long haul. And then basically back here, this is where the tire would mount. So one single tire in the middle is kind of what I'm thinking. That way I can do like single track. This thing is a foot wide, so it's not going to be any wider than like the bike is, you know. Really. I mean, we want the bikes to be able to do single track too. So it sort of opens up a whole new world of places to explore around. Why do I have that one? Because that's supposed to go there. That's why. So we'll just kind of ignore the front and the back attachment points, because really what we're more worried about is making a parts list to cut here. And really it looks like all we're going to need is kind of the length of this, which I won't be able to do. I'll have to make that up in the moment when I'm doing this. And this, which I will be able to do here because, well, actually, I don't know how big my tire is. But the length of this, and this. So this will basically be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces of steel. Of steel. And then I'll just weld them together and create this frame. So let's see, if this is 12 inches here, and I think I did this on a 3.5 inch inset, right? 3.5 inches here and 3.5 inches here. I think the square tube is going to be 1 inch. So the distance from here to here needs to be 1. and from here to here needs to be 1. From here to here needs to be 1. Oh, if I do it from the line to the dot, then it will do the whole thing. And then we can constrain these to be straight up and down here, which will help the model. I think this one already is. These already are. These ones won't be. But from here to here needs to be 1, because that's what our material is going to be. Can this move? Yeah, so from here to here needs to be 1 as well. Okay, we're getting it straightened out now. And so basically what we're going to put in this is like rain gear. You know, we get the last trip we did get stuck in a rainstorm. Luckily there was like a underpass thing for this road that we were on under the freeway that we just hung out under until the rainstorm left. But you're not always going to, we're not always going to get that lucky. Okay, so this is 1 inch. So I think we're gonna have to do this like this. So the this this line, this pipe here would be 1 square tube, and then I'll just butt weld this to that. I could do like 45s here and get this 90 like that, but I'm not going to. Okay, so the distance we need to take, so it's going to have to be 2.5 inches in here. So what distance do we want to move away from this thing? If we do like 2 inches in and then 1/2 inch there, I think it would be fine. So we're going to put this from here to be 2 inches. So we'll start with this one. Since we can't actually go to our other model, we're going to go from here to here. This should be 2 inches, right? And then we will need to add up whatever this length is. If we want this to be 2 inches, we want this to be 3 inches from here. So that would be 9 from here, right? So this from here should be 9 inches. Why isn't that right? Why does it say 18 right now? Because I thought this was 12. Did I mess that up somehow? Let's go back to that sketch and see what I did here. It says 12 millimeters. So if this is 12, how is that 18? Now it says 9. I don't know what I did there. Well, we want it to be 9. Okay. Apparently we're going to space in this song. Okay, so that puts this one. Do we want to do it? I don't know if I want to do a 1/2 inch off of that, or let me see what the edges are like. Now the only problem I might have here is these little inset things might cause a problem. Like I might have to come over here and turn and then go straight out, which would be alright. I mean, I think on this back part I want to have this diagonal here for the wheel, because I'm going to need 2 pieces around the wheel anyways for stability. The front part could just come to a head right here and then just come off, but I'm just going to not worry about these. I'm going to design these in the moment. So all we really need is this rectangle here for now. So let's just let's see how far is it from here to here, or Yeah. So we're at like 5 1/4 to 21 1/4. So it's 21 minus 5. It'd be 16 inches. So 16 from here to here. If we wanted to do a 1/2 inch offset, this thing would need to be 17 inches long. Oh, I did that wrong. Not this one. This one would need to be 19 inches long. Oh no, why? Need to be actually in it. Okay, this one here would need to be 17. Yeah, so now we're getting somewhere. Okay, so for it to be, this is 26.5 long, so we need to be 10.5. 10.5 would be not 2 here, but half of that, so 5 1/4 to this dot from this line to even us out. Oh, but then I need to add my 1/2 inch. So it'd be 4.75 there. So now we're even there, and I think we're even on the other side of it too. So we should be all good there, and I don't know what to do with these sort of corner pieces here. And then this needs to be there. Oh, we need to make this one. We need to make this one 19. 19 as well. And it needs to be even here. How do we make that? If we put this from here is what? Minus 3.75. So this from here needs to be minus 3.75 to equal that out. Can I still move this one? Yeah, so this one, same thing. Minus, no, not 19. What happened? Minus 3.75. And then that should make this one right because we have the 19 there. So if I close this, what do I end up with? Kind of that thing. So pat it at 1 millimeter. It's a 1 inch square tube. And then reverse the pat. And then all I'll do is just drill holes in the box on the bottom and just bolt it right through this square tube. I don't think that's going to be too heavy. With the ammo cans, I might have been able to weld it, or same thing, just bolt through it. I think that's what I've done with other ammo cans. But I think this will give us plenty of, room to haul stuff. Basically, you could put your lunch in here, and then a little bit of survival gear, maybe like some rain ponchos, stuff like that. Just whatever. Maybe a little extra water. Still gonna have to have, each person's gonna have to have their own water, because you don't want to. Sometimes you get split up. And you're like, if you're too far away from each other, or somebody gets lost, they need to have their own water in case it's like, dependent on the situation, I guess. So, and we have when we get into this with the e-bikes, which is kind of the next idea, everybody's going to have a Rhino radio or a Rhino GPS, which are like GPSs that Garmin makes that share location, so you can kind of see where everybody is based on that. Okay, so let's get a center point for this, and maybe we'll put a wheel in it. So if this is 9 millimeters, well, this is 12, so the center would be 6, right? Would be 6, but then let's say that we need like 2 inches for our wheel. So then this would need to be 4 away from this. And then 2 inches, and then 2 inches, so this would need to be 8 away from that, right? So that sort of gets us there. Why are we moving like crazy? Let's not be crazy here, model. Okay, what do we not want for this? Do we want it to be 18? Will that work? Or I guess. I don't know how big my wheels are is the main issue here. But so that should somewhat deal with that. I'm still under constrained, but and I think I have too much space between here because I did 4 inches, not 8 inches, or yeah. So I need to add, this needs to be 5, and this one needs to be 7. There we go. So I don't know how many inches the thing actually is, and it will just kind of bolt through here, or I'll put a little tab, I'll weld a tab off the end here that the tire will ride in. But what's nice about this is like it closes, so you can put your stuff in it and close it, and then this will be mounted to this with bolts or whatever, so you won't have to worry about bungee cords or any of that crap. The last time we went, we lost a coat, and my wife lost her sunglasses. We found them both on our way back, along with some other garbage, but the coat was the kid's coat, which, but that was on the day that we didn't need coats. The first day we lost a coat, it fell out of the trailer. So this will be a huge improvement because we can stuff the coats in this box, and then we won't have to, nothing's going to fall out. The box is going to stay closed. It has like secure attachments that aren't, it's like better than a Tupperware style tote. You know what I mean? And we can put a bungee over the whole thing if we need, but I don't think it's kind of like a toolbox, I guess, more than like a tote. It has like secure things that keep the lid down. I think, it's not, I don't think that it's quite like the ones that you kind of click in like that, but it's close. And the other thing too is that I can always just take this off and put another one on, whatever size. If this isn't working, I can easily just redo this or put a fatter one on it, but I think this is going to be enough. As far as the water goes, like I carry extra water in a backpack that I ride around with. I was kind of looking at our situation, and there are other things that we can do for extra water. And then we've had this kid's bike trailer that we put water in, because the way that this works is my oldest kid has his own mountain bike. Then me and my wife have mountain bikes, and then we have this like tandem bike that bolts onto my bike. So it's not like a bike trailer. It's a bike trailer in the sense that my youngest kid can sit on it and ride. So he pedals, and he has his own drive tire, and he has 6 gears that he can switch and handlebars, but he can't steer, and he doesn't need to balance. I balance for him basically, and it's not a big deal. It's like it turns my bike into a tandem bike basically. So this would go behind my wife's bike, or it would go behind, and probably I'm going to try this first. It will go behind me and the kid. So we're going to have this long 3 vehicle wide bike. And the reason I'm going to try that first is because the kid is getting old enough now that he helps. So when he's pedaling, we go faster than everybody else. So I'm thinking if we add the weight to us, then even if we're, cruising past everybody, it's kind of like, well, we have extra weight too. So I don't know, maybe we wouldn't cruise past everybody. So I'll try it and see how it goes. I have 2 of the little adapter things that the attachments to the bike. Now the problem that I see with this is the spring attachment for this, as far as like the hitch, the hookup. Well, I don't know if that will only work for a 2-tired trailer, because the trailer that the attachment comes with has a tire here and like a tire way over here. And so it's stable on its own, and I'm trying to put a single tire on it. But I think the spring is stiff enough to sort of keep this thing held up. And it only needs to keep it held up until we start moving. Once we start moving, this thing should balance, kind of the way that it, like a gyroscope. Once we're moving, it should try to stay up. It will try not to fall over. But I really don't think it's going to try to fall over. I think we're going to have a low center of gravity, and I'll have this nice steel skid plate here. So even if we do hit rocks and stuff, it's really just going to hopefully slide. And I also don't know if this is going to go up into the tire or if this will just be straight like this. But it seems pretty straightforward. Now I can just get a parts list of what lengths to cut all of this, which I could have just done this easily with a tape measure or whatever too. But sometimes it's fun to model things and see how they will go. So, like back here, basically we would do a tire right here. So, we can sort of do that. So from here to here would be 0.5, right? So that's where the center of our tire would be. And then I don't know how big these are. I'm going to say they're probably about 12 inches. Maybe maybe 14 inches. So let's say like that, right? So if we close that, and then basically if we just pad that to like 1.5 millimeters. Oops. Why? What did I do? Is that not in I don't know what I was trying to do there. Okay, we want to pad this. I don't know why I can't pad this. That's in a body, right? Maybe I need to make a new body. It's just a weird freaking thing. Can I move that to that body? No. Okay. Now I can pat it. I don't know why that happens or, what to do about it, basically. But I'm just going to come in and move it in until we're in that center. So something like that, and then maybe if I even want to get, maybe I could get some sort of fender for it, or make one that goes kind of in there too. I don't know. But that's kind of the idea. So this would give me like 7 inches of ground clearance here or something, which I think would be good, because this is kind of going to be, kicking over rocks and stuff, which the other one kind of does. It just depends on what we're riding on. The other option here is I could put 2 wheels on it. I have 2 of these wheels from that other trailer. I actually have 4 if we destroy the trailer that we have as well, to where I could put a wheel here and a wheel here. But I'm kind of thinking just the one wheel would be best on this thing. That's kind of what I'm wanting to do. So that's probably what I'm going to do. I don't know if I have enough square tube left from the last project to do this. So if I don't have to buy some, I don't know, maybe today I'll knock this thing together real quick. I don't know. I think we're going on a bike ride today, so that should screw things up. I got to do a bunch of other stuff, so I don't know. But basically, if we open up one of these sketches, it should have our parts list in it. Which, I don't think it's this one, is it? This is the tire. So it's got to be this one. So I basically need a 19-inch there, 2 19-inchers, right? And then what is this one? Let's figure out this distance, 6. So I might have enough. So I need 2 19s, so that would be 38 inches, and then 2 6s, so that would be 12 inches, so 50 inches. So I need more than 5 feet, and then this one is 18 and 18, so I need 2 of those, so another 36 inches. So now we're at 86 inches. And then I don't know how big this is. Probably similar to that. I mean, so let's say another 3 feet, so another 36 inches. So I need about 120 inches. So I need about 10 feet, basically. 10 feet should be more than enough to do this. So I'm just going to take a picture with my phone. Then I'll have a parts list for later. To at least kind of get this bit. I can get the initial rectangle going. Oh, sorry. Get the initial rectangle going, and then all I have to do is sort of measure out the rest. Then it would be there. Have a bike trailer. I think I don't know if I have 10 feet of that though. I don't think I do. I think I have I know I have one little piece that's 4 feet, 3 feet, but I might have another bit of it laying there. Actually though, I think I did take a bunch of pieces off of, I'm thinking of a different material. Because I did take a bunch of the pieces like this off of the toilet trailer that was my like lever system for lifting the box, I bet you all those pieces would be enough to do this if I just cut them just right, you know. So basically do the longest ones first, and like the long ones would probably cover this piece and this piece. So that would be that rectangle done. And then if the other ones were long enough to do these two and these two. Yeah, so I might have the material to do this today. Weld it together. Yesterday I went to Lowe's and Harbor Freight and spent a bunch of money on stuff. So there's other things that I have to do. Like I got a vise. I got a tap and die set. They were both marked down in the markdown section. There's nothing wrong with the vise. So I don't know what the deal is with that. The tap and die set is missing one tap, which is, it's like an M6 by 1. So I'm not sure if I would ever need that. So that was a score, I think. And then we got an extension cord for the yard and some other stuff. So basically we got a ton of stuff done this week. I killed a shed. So one shed is gone completely. I went 2 trips to the dump, 1 trip to the metal recycler, and cleaned up just a bunch of stuff. I got a blazer in the garage and cleaned up the garage to the point that there's still another bay. So I can put my other car in the other side and work on it, and keep the blazer in one side and work on it. So I can get that going, because the blazer is going to be the next car. Like basically I'm killing the Prius. I'm going to let it go. We're just going to drive it till it completely dies and then junkyard it. And maybe I'll get another one someday. I don't know. But for now, it's like, this is my plan. Because the blazer's just sitting there rotting. If I get it running, then it won't. I'll be able to, fix it as we go. Like I do with the trucks. Like the Tahoe and the Suburban are at better states. The Tahoe just needs the air conditioning. There's a leak. I got to find the leak and then fix it and then charge it. And then the Suburban needs some stuff, but it's running. It's a lot of it on the Suburban is interior. The main thing that the Suburban doesn't have right now that it needs is a park brake cable. And then everything on it is pretty good, I think. And then just like, paint, interior, like cosmetic stuff. The Tahoe is going to be the AC. The Prius has a random misfire. If I could fix that, then I think it would be a lot better. And it probably has a clogged cat, or very close to a clogged cat, because it burns oil. The thing is like, I don't know, 280,000 miles or so. It's time. I think the battery is dying, so yeah. So there you go, I guess. There's my bike trailer. What I'm gonna do to it, or whatever. I mean, I guess we could pad this up more. So I think it's kind of like, it's pretty much 12.5 up. So it'll be kind of like that, and the top will obviously not have these holes in it, and it'll just be like a tote, tote trailer. I can't remember how much this tote was, like maybe like $20 or something, $30. And it's not like maybe the best thing ever, but I think it will work for this. The other idea was just to put ammo cans here and you'd have like I think I could string like 3 or 4 together to make this space. Those they're like 50 millimeter ammo cans you can get, and like that thing would be indestructible, you know. And we were talking about maybe putting like a drive wheel on this thing, so it would push the bike. Which I have seen somebody do that, where they just have a regular bike and then they made like this motor unit trailer thing to push them. And, you know, there was concerns. People on the internet were concerned that it would not work or whatever. But it seemed to. I don't remember the dude's channel or what, where I saw it, but it seemed to work. And the video I was watching, he was explaining the issues everybody thought it would have that it just really doesn't have. You know, like, I mean, the trailer pushing the bike, I guess, you know, you wouldn't want it to, I guess if it overly did it, like, if you, like, one of the issues that people were thinking it would have was if the bike was jackknifed, would it just push the bike sideways? And it didn't seem to. He jackknifed it and throttled it, and it just, the trailer just straightened out and pushed him. So, you know, I don't know. He wouldn't, I don't know that you would ever really get on a jackknife like that unless you were going around a corner. I don't think you would really be starting in that position, you know. And the other thing, too, to note is that the bike still has its pedals. And so with these vehicles, you're not fully using this to push yourself, right? All the time. You can start the bike with your pedals, and then you can hit the throttle. You can straighten yourself out and then hit the throttle. You know, it's like, I think sometimes people forget the human touch is more powerful than the danger presented in these problems, right? Like, that's, if there even was a danger of this actually doing that. I think he even like had it throttled to where this tire would just spin before it would push him, you know. Like, I built a little scooter, a little e-scooter, and it has the tires are about this big. I don't know what they are. They might be 20 inch, not 12, but, or 14 what I have here. But basically I stand on this part and then it has a scooter. It's like, yeah, it has like a 30-mile range or so. I think a 20 amp hour battery. I think I got about 26 miles when I killed the battery. I did it one time. Now that was the reason I say 30 miles is because it was basically a little bit of an uphill and then a steep downhill, which obviously I didn't use much battery on, if any. And then a little bit of flat and then reversed. And so the steep uphill, like most of the last half was steep uphill. And so I don't know how much that's going to skew the mileage. You know what I mean? So is it a 15-mile range if it was all flat? Or is it a 30-mile range if it was all flat? So I don't know. But kind of the other point of this trailer is if the mileage, if we can't get like at least 30 miles out of a bike, then this might have to carry some batteries, you know, and maybe it does need to be driven on its own, because if it's too much weight, it's going to suck down the mileage of the bike that's towing it. But if it can carry extra batteries, then we can kind of double our mileage, you know. So that's the other idea here. Because what I want to be able to do is to go explore for at least like 2 days. It'd be nice to be able to do 3 days, but 2 days, basically I get off on Friday, we get in the truck and go. We're to camp around 2-3 p.m., set up camp till like 4 p.m., maybe go on a bike ride, and then dinner, and then go to bed. And then in the morning, we wake up and go on a long bike ride. And so I'm kind of setting the trailer up to be able to charge these batteries overnight. to where we will have lithium batteries on the trailer, which I already have 100 amp hours and 100 watts of solar. So I want to get 300 watts of solar, and depending on what I need for lithium, because the solar is not that expensive. It's about $1 a watt. So I can get to 300 watts, $300. Well, the battery is like 320 for 100 amp hours for the battery that I got. So if I get 2 more of those, I'm at 600, 700, which I guess isn't too bad. It is what it is. But the other thing too is that I might actually use that trailer as a generator to generate power for my shop going forward. So I'm going to put a pretty good inverter in it, and basically I'm just going to run it. It sits next to my garage, and so I'm going to run a cord through to use for power in the shop. So it will kind of hopefully eventually, help with my power bill, even just that teeny little tiny bit. And then the other thing too is that if I'm using it on a consistent basis, then I'll know if it dies or if I have some sort of issue, like it unwires itself magically or something, and so I can maintain the battery to keep from killing it, because I kill batteries. So, we can't really put these batteries in our backpack with our water. I guess we could, but that'd be a lot of weight. It'd be better to do this, to where it's carrying itself. And then if we need to make it e-powered, that would really be about $500. The battery and the kit and everything, that's basically what it is. So the other thing that I want to do, is what I'm thinking about doing, is designing my own suspension on these bikes. So, you can get an e-bike kit that's a hub motor. So the motor comes with the tire and the rim and everything, and the motor's in here. Then it gives you a controller, and so it's about $200, $250 or something for that, or at least it was. I mean, I don't know, maybe this will all change now that the tariffs on China, who knows, but basically maybe it won't, I don't know. And then a battery, the batteries are like $250 or so. So I could basically do that and then build the bike. So then I'm in a bike like $600 or $700, after the steel and everything and time. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about doing. And then what I'll do is just copy a dirt bike suspension. So on the front, I'll put in some pretty good forks. If it already has the front fork suspension that's on a normal bike, I'll probably just leave it and call it good. But the main thing I'm more looking into is the back swing arm on these bikes, to make it more like a dirt bike, to where it has a pretty good amount of flex to it, so that it's a little cushier. And then the other main thing that I'm looking at is the seat. I don't want to have a bike seat for these, because we're going to be cruising across dirt roads, and I just want them to be cushier. So I'm going to put in a dirt bike style seat on these, where it's thick foam, long thick foam, so you can adjust your seating position as you go. It'll still have pedals like a bike. It'll just kind of look like a dirt bike or a bike, e-bike with a swing arm and a dirt bike seat. That way we're more it's still going to be a bicycle. It's just going to be modified a little, so that I still don't have to go register it. I can go out and explore without having to really go to the DMV or registering all these toys, So yeah. Then I'll have my 4-wheeler setup. So the 4-wheeler setup will be for the long trips, and the e-bikes will be for the short trips. So anyways, I don't know. So I guess now I don't know what to do. But my kid usually wakes up at 6 to play video games, but he's not here. So he didn't wake up, maybe he forgot. So we'll probably have to play that game later. So there you have it. I don't have anything else to design. So I'm just gonna, I guess I'll just go wait till everybody wakes up and then start building this thing. And then I'll get this thing built and maybe we'll go bike riding today. Build this thing today. Fix the sprinklers today. Put the 4-wheelers in the trailer today. And then I'll have room in the garage to fix the Prius and the Tahoe. And then this week I'm going to start. So 75 hard. That's kind of, let's talk about that. That's kind of what this whole podcast started as, was 75 hard kind of updates. Well, last week I was still doing 75 hard. I started in January, but I've failed so many times that I think I failed 4 or 5 times. And basically what would happen is Saturday would come along and I would get doing this type of stuff and I would forget to read. Because I started reading my book at work. I have so much time wasted because receivers are slow and receivers are inefficient that we just end up waiting. It's kind of part of the job, as a truck driver, is you're just waiting on people sometimes. So I could read my book at work. Then Saturdays I would forget to read. So what I'm going to have to do, I guess, is, so anyways, I failed a bunch of times. But it's to the point now to where I can't just keep going and failing and then starting again. And so I know you're not supposed to do this. So I'm going to do this the wrong way. But what you're supposed to do is do 75 hard, and then the next step is called phase 1. So what I'm going to do is do phase 1 without completing 75 hard, which is, you're not supposed to do that, but I'm going to anyways. So, but what I'm going to do is once phase 1 is completed, because I'm doing it with, my wife or whatever. When we're done with phase 1, I'm just going to keep going on 75 hard until she's ready to do phase 2. And then when she's ready, then I'll do phase 2 with her. And then if I'm done with 75 hard, then I'll do the third. You're supposed to have 30 days between 2 and 3, I think, or something like that. So if I'm done with 75 hard, then I'll do the break. If not, I'll keep doing it, and then I'll do phase 3 with her, because all of those phases include the 75 hard things. So I'll just be adding to them. I'll still put the year as a failure. Obviously, it is what it is. And next year I'll try again. Next year I'll try again to do the full program all the way through. So it's not easy. It's really hard to do. It is what it is. I failed it last year too. But last year I failed because I didn't know the exact steps. So we didn't know that you're supposed to do 2 45-minute workouts that are separated. Well, we didn't know they had to be separated. So we would go bike riding for 2 hours and call it good. Well, that doesn't count. If you go for 2 hours, you have to wait some amount of time and then work out again, even if you went over your time, right? So, so I'm not claiming to do it, but I'm going to do it this way. So, whatever. So I basically did 75 hard for 5 months, and I missed reading. I only missed reading like 4 times. I did all the other stuff. So I've been working out every day since January, in some sense or another. So, basically 5 months I did it. And then finally, last week I was trying to get ready to go camping, and I forgot to take my picture on Thursday. And I didn't do a podcast. Now I could have, the one thing that I did one other time is I counted my picture as my security camera on my house, which I know that isn't right either. So, but I didn't do that this time. I could have, but what I said instead was, screw it. I'm camping. I'm going to have a s'more. You know what I mean? I've been doing this thing for 5 months. It's time for a break, and we will start phase 1 next week. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to start it tomorrow. So today's going to be the last day of goofing off. And I've pretty much still worked out all week. While I was camping, I did bike rides. And then all week, every day I get up and I work on the yard. I work on the house. Like, I've taken these sheds down, gone to the dump. I've cut down trees, all that stuff. Taken branches and trees to the dump. I got rid of 2 fridges, a dryer, a bunch of metal that I didn't need, a bunch of just garbage like that, and failed projects. You fail a project, you put all this time and money into the materials and the time. Then the project doesn't work, or you change it and you have extra parts. You don't necessarily want to get rid of those things because but they're not useful for anything. So that went to the dump. And there still is some failed projects around that I'm not sure I'm done with yet. Remote control snowplow. Maybe that thing needs to come back and they need to build it because it was like a tracked vehicle that I was building. So it's in the shed. I have a whole Jazzy in the shed that needs to get tore down, and I can use those motors to build something else. Like maybe, I got the remote control wagon. What I need to do, I need to get that thing to be controlled by the kid. So I put the kid in the wagon, and then he drives it, and then he can tow the other wagon behind it. So I don't have to yank this wagon half a mile across or a quarter mile across the soccer complex every Saturday, because basically, the kids play at opposite ends of this deal. So you have 2 games, you got to drag your wagon from one to the other. So I built the remote control wagon, but the problem is I put lithium batteries on it, and it really doesn't like those. The motor controller really does not react well, and it does takeoffs, and so it's not great. So, you can't win them all. It is what it is. So I need to just hook that up to not be a remote control, then it won't do a takeoff. It'll just be a joystick. You push the button or whatever, and you drive it. It's tank steering, so I should be able to figure that out. The kids are going to start their next year of school tomorrow. I guess that's what we're doing. Or I guess they're still going to be continuing this year, and at some point we'll buy all the new curriculum for next year. That's what it's going to be. Because what we're going to do this time, we've been taking breaks through the summer, like I did in school or whatever, but we're not going to do that anymore. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to a system, and it's going to be year round. So they're going to have weeks off throughout the year rather than trying to do it all and then a 3-month stretch off or a 2-month stretch off. So, because basically we have these, they get worn out. And so my plan is to do if we did, 3, I think I said 6 weeks on, 2 weeks off. You get a 2-week break. So, yeah, it's something like that. Or maybe I'll do 6 weeks on and 1 week off. I don't know. I haven't decided yet, but I'll figure that out, and then that's the schedule that we will make, and they'll do that. That way it's they get a break, and I think those breaks are a big deal because they can kind of refresh. I wish that we got more vacation at work. I only get 2 weeks at this job. And it's this year I get 3. But maybe the next year I'll have 3 too. But it's still just it's not really enough. By the time that I get, and I know I'm pushing myself with 75 hard, but today is my last day of vacation. Tomorrow I go back to work. I don't feel rested and ready. And I've been pushing myself hard all week, so I don't know. But it's just that our society, I don't know what to do about this problem sometimes, but we just work and work and work, and to buy stuff and it's like, it sort of feels like just a struggle to be able to afford the things that we need to and still experience the things that we want to, I guess. But whatever. I guess a lot of it is made up anyways. Like, resorts or whatever. At least we get to experience a lot of it with the internet. I don't know. Whatever. So, because there's like people out there who work like half the year. So they will like live in a van, and then they work 6 months and make a bunch of money. And then the next 6 months they live off of it. Go cruise around the country and basically, check out all the state parks and all that kind of stuff. That feels like a good life. I don't know. Whereas this feels like you're a slave to a corporation, which isn't great either. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do about that, but it is what it is, I guess. I just gotta keep going. So, but yeah, all right. Well, I think I'm gonna end the stream and I guess play video games till the kid wakes up or whatever. Not sure what to play. Maybe I'll just chill on YouTube. But there's my bike trailer that I'll build maybe this week or something. But thanks for watching.